You all know Sweden, meatballs, IKEA, Zlatan. And we're very proud of all of them. However, there's another aspect of Sweden which is also our reality. Sweden has a very strong history of innovation. There's a lot of engineers in our country. They do a lot of technical stuff. I don't understand half of it. But there comes a lot of innovation out of our country. We've provided the world with good services like Spotify and Skype. We've provided the world with less good services like the Pirate Bay. But nevertheless, we as a country are very used to adapting to new technology very fast. And that has some advantages and some drawbacks. We like to think that we're pretty close to Germany, both in terms of geographical presence and in terms of cultural. However, we're also very different. Being a broadcaster, I've always envied the linear viewing of the German market. Mine hasn't really been that high, but above all, a couple of 7, 8 years ago, it started to decline quite drastically. It has declined ever since, and it will never stop declining. Because simultaneously, we're now in a market where probably not this year, you see this is 16, 17 figures, probably not this year, but most likely next year, more video, more television will be viewed OTT than in linear. And that is, for you guys, good news and bad news. The bad news is that this is coming to you as well. As we used to say it in Sweden, winter is coming. The good news, hopefully, is that handled in the right way, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But when you're in the middle of it, when you're in 2014, when I actually moved back from Italy to Sweden and joined this group, when you're in 2014 and you see your inventory basically disappear, and you see that all the users, they're going somewhere else, this is pretty scary. This is something that gives you a big deal of anxiety. What are you going to do about it? And I seriously remember discussions back in 2014 about, is there a place for a broadcaster in the future? And if so, what's that going to be like? Are we going to do different content? People are not interested in the kind of content, drama, entertainment we do these days. Are we going to shoot it in a different way? This 16:9 widescreen kind of format, is that dead? Are we going to shoot it for mobiles? Seriously, someone said in a meeting that we were going to shoot our entertainment standing, so it fits better in a mobile environment. Obviously also, is there a future for a broadcaster, or should we be a platform? Shouldn't we be like the cool guys, the Facebook, the YouTube, the digital guys? Not only do the users love them, but the advertisers, our pals, they don't want to hang out with us any longer. They want to be over there with the digital guys. So a lot of anxiety has been processed during these years. But at the end of the day, we've sort of stuck to 3 golden rules that now, as we look ahead, as we're continuing through this digital transformation, has served us and the market very well. So the first thing that has taken us to where we are today is this. Trust your content. A good story, as it turns out now, 4 or 5 years later, a good story is a good story, independent of how it is transported, if it's transported linear or digital, independently if it is viewed on a mobile or a big screen, independently if it is viewed at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night or if it's viewed at this time of your choice. A good story is a good story, and as any broadcaster, that is what you do. News, sports, entertainment, drama, whatever, whatnot. A good story is what gives you the relevance for the audience and the advertisers. And when you take a moment and you think about that, and when we took a moment and we thought about that, and we said, okay, if our core is good, if this is what the audience wants, then you can make some really strategic decisions from that. First of all, we said that, you know what? If you want our content, it's our platforms that you need to go to. Our AVOD service is called TV4 Play. It works in Swedish. 4 Play works less good in English, but TV4 Play anyway. So we don't distribute our shows on any other digital platforms. I personally know the Spotify guys. You know they've been working for their video solution forever, and of course, we should put our content there. No, I don't think so. Facebook has been all over the place saying this is where you should place your content. Facebook Watch and in the feeds and whatever and whatnot. No, that's not for us, and not to mention YouTube. We've decided that the only way to share, to consume our full-length content is in the TV4 environment. And we've also said that, you know what? Not only is it mandatory to come to us if you want to take part of our content, it's also mandatory to get to know us. We basically put up a login on our service saying it's for free, come on in. But by the way, tell us who you are, tell us what you like, and we will make you a much, much better service. So let me show you a short video about what it's like when you trust your content.
Vinnare av Idol 2004 är Daniel!
The way we worked in 2004 differs from how we work now in almost every respect. Back then, we produced around 28 hours for Idol, whereas today, the numbers of hours produced across all platforms is tenfold. People are constantly moving between different platforms. During qualification week, for example, more than 100,000 viewers switched from the linear broadcast to TV4 Play in just 10 seconds. Today we reach approximately 3.2 million people in total. More interestingly is the fact that we reach completely different target audiences on different platforms.
TV4 Sweden and Fremantle Sweden have come together to produce one of the most successful combinations of linear and digital broadcasting across the entire world.
That's goosebumps for you. So that's the first thing, trust your content. And the second thing, and if I get back to my presentation, is that when you trust your content and you say, you know, this is what we're good at. We don't want to be over in the cool corner with the Google and Facebook guys. We're in our corner. We do what we think is cool. And if you don't think it's cool, that's fine. We think it's cool. The second thing, we said that, you know what? Actually, a lot of the stuff that we've been doing over many, many years is not so bad. There's stuff in our legacy that it's got to be good independently of what everyone else says. For all the years, We work transparently with the market and with advertisers. If you buy advertising from us, you know what you're getting. We have it measured by the independent institute, and we use a common currency to deliver it to you. That's about the inventory you're buying. We also have full transparency in the value chain of the money. You know who's getting your money. That's not a bad thing. On the same topic, we have always been an environment where it's brand safe, where your content is, or your advertising is put in an environment where there is quality content. And you know what? It's also an environment where someone actually sees your message, where it covers the full screen. It's not X pixel in X seconds. What kind of rubbish is that? And that's our legacy. And you know what? That is also what goes for the digital. We don't adhere to any this many pixels in this many seconds. When you buy TV4 digital inventory, you get full screen, you get sound on, you get 99% completion rate. That is our history. So we said, you know what? Also that is good, in spite of maybe not being cool at the moment. And we've said that for many years. So that applies for our linear inventory. It applies for our digital inventory. So having said that, strong content, strong environment, strong currency and transparency, of course, there is a lot of good stuff in the digital world that we also can benefit from. And if we have a good place for you to show your message, we have a fantastic reach, there is something that we usually don't have, and that is data. So we thought, why don't we go about trying to also add data to the television mix? So as I mentioned previously before, today we have 4.5 million active users on our AVOD service. Every single one of those users are in a logged-in consumption mode. That means that we don't only know who you are, we also know where you live, because in Sweden, where you have a very open data policy, also post-GDPR, you can actually match the details of your user with those of the official register. So we are today the second largest logged-in media service, second largest only to one, and of course this is painful to say, we're second to Facebook, but we're ahead of so many others. But we're second to Facebook in terms of quantity of logged-in users, but we're number one when it comes to quality of data. Our quality of data is at a whole other level than that of Facebook. So that is basically how we have addressed a situation where our market is going south, and it continues to go south, and we will go south forever. But the digital part of the market is growing very, very fast. And obviously, this is only a good idea if someone else than us thinks it's important. As I started out saying, this was our way of handling a situation where our position in the market was threatened, where the cool guys, the profitable guys, the growing guys, they were in that corner, and we were over there. But also, as I explained, we said, you know, we like our corner. We think it's good stuff in our corner, and we can add some of this new, especially the data, and we think the mix will be fabulous. But does it matter if the users or the advertisers doesn't agree? It doesn't, of course. So we have spent a lot of time talking to the market in small meetings, in big forums, about what kind of a market do we want in the future? Because the advertising, the video advertising market is only going to turn out the way you guys decide that it is going to turn out. So we have talked with them in regular meetings. We have talked to them in forums like this. And we've always kept the same arguments from our side. You know what? Start with the contents. And for an advertiser, start with the message. If it doesn't make anyone feel, why bother? Secondly, there's a lot of good stuff in our history, in our legacy, that I think we both agree upon is good. Transparency, common currency, all those traditional values. And we're going to fight like crazy to add the new dimension to our product, to our reach, to our environment for you guys. And we have something called Stockholm Media Week. It's not very different to this, I would say. It's the major advertisers, the major media agencies, and we are invited together with many, many others to talk about the market and the development. So this time around, we got 3 minutes each, and it was us, Peter to the left, it was YouTube, it was Playad, which is a local online video network, and it was a Smart Clip, which is, big media, or a big AVOD network. And they were all given 3 minutes to explain their case, to say why or how would they like to see the market develop, and what can they offer to the advertisers in that market. And then the entire room, like you here, guys, had the Mentometers, and you were asked one single question. Okay, after these presentations, where will you spend your money? And the point to me is that this is not only important to us, this is important to you too. Because if we try to add the good stuff, the new, the data, to already very, very well-functioning market media, that gives something for an advertiser to work with in brand and sales modeling. So that is, I'd say, extremely important part of our story. We believed in this, but at the end of the day, it only makes a difference if you believe in it. And the outcome, we, as a broadcaster, have lost market share in AVOD for a long, long time. That stopped, actually, 3 years ago, and we have been skyrocketing since 2 years ago. This market in Sweden, YouTube is, or used to be 50%, and we have grown with twice the rate of the market the last couple of years. So if your market is anything like ours, and if your market is moving the same direction as our market is doing, and for many reasons I think it is, then I would expect you to see a big change of money when it comes to where you spend your AVOD money. Another change you're going to see is, and this is actually my figures, my linear TV business wasn't growing very much. My linear TV business the last 3 years is growing like crazy. And this is during a period of time where I each year have 5-6% less GRPs to offer. So the demand for television advertising in Sweden is increasing a lot, and the supply is decreasing. So obviously, prices are going up quite a lot. And so that is the TV4 story. We stood in a corner. We didn't feel very cool. Now I'm on the stage in Amsterdam, and I feel quite cool. But most importantly, at least if you ask my owners, is that we have managed to transform a traditional linear television business to a platform-agnostic TV business. We deliver good stories to the users. We'll deliver fantastic impressions, advertising opportunities to you guys. And at the end of the day, we are a financially growing company with a very, very healthy profit. And that's what makes them happy. So that's the story of TV4. Thank you very much.